Now, for those that had nowhere else to go this Thanksgiving, this church made room. We'll show you why they wanted to step up and how a Sun Prairie barber joined in on the Thanksgiving spirit today at his shop. Plus, the president makes a surprise visit overseas, his Thanksgiving comments to troops.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for joining us for the news tonight. I'm Amy Reed. A church in Rock County is opening its doors for those who don't have a place to go this Thanksgiving. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter explains while many of these people have a home, it's about being welcomed there.
Well, for most of us, Thanksgiving is about family. But for those who are LGBTQ, sometimes home might not be the most welcoming place. Today, they say they're finding a home in their community.
We got some Hawaiian biscuits, homemade cranberry sauce.
Inside Beloit's First Congregational Church,
We got chicken gravy, mashed potatoes, turkey.
Jennifer Schuler and other volunteers have been hard at work, prepping up Thanksgiving dinner. But they say this holiday can be difficult for those not welcome at home.
They can't go home to their families because of who they choose to be. So we give them a safe place to come and have dinner and meet new people. The Yellow Brick Road Advocacy Group started this event 3 years ago. They say it addresses a real problem.
Having someone not accept you is really hard, but when it's someone as close as your family, it's much harder.
And over the last 3 years, as groups like Yellow Brick Road have grown,
Good. Enjoying the food.
the dinner has grown too.
My favorite part about this event is people coming together, not just LGBT plus community, but allies and everybody else that just needs company.
Because ultimately, they say everyone deserves a family to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday with.
This isn't about gay rights. This is about equal rights. This is about being a simple human and having human decency towards one another.
Leaders within the Yellow Brick Road organization say if today's dinner makes a difference even to just one person, that's worth it for them.
For more information on the Yellow Brick Road organization or to learn how to get involved, visit our website, channel3000.com. Well, if you're heading out early for Black Friday shopping, you'll want to be careful on those roads. Hattie McLean joins us for a first look at our first alert weather.
That's right, Amy. We're watching the radar map this evening. It is showing you some light precipitation, but most of that not actually reaching the ground. I can't find any ground reports of this snow that we have showing up on the radar for our viewing area. Overnight, though, there is the potential with temperatures hovering right around the freezing point that we may see some freezing drizzle into early Friday morning. So be aware of that if you're headed out for Black Friday today or tomorrow. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer tomorrow with cloudy skies and high temperatures right in the upper 30s. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll talk more about a storm system that will impact the area for the weekend. Here's a look at your impactful weather for Sunday. Could be driving, which we'll be watching with some light snow accumulating here across southern Wisconsin. That's coming up in Maine weather.
Thanks, Hattie. Developing now, a Janesville man is in custody after shooting another person early this morning. Janesville police responded to a report of a gunshot in the 1700 block of South Willard Avenue around 6:30. Officials say they spoke to witnesses and learned a man was shot. He was driven to St. Mary's Hospital in Janesville, where he was later treated and released for a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Janesville officials say the victim told police 26-year-old Gage Holmes was the man who shot him. Holmes met with officers later in the morning and was charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide. He's being held in Rock County Jail for an initial court appearance. Several residents were rescued during a fire at a Sun Prairie apartment building this morning. First responders went to the apartments in the 1200 block of Severson Drive shortly before 4 this morning. Officials say there was heavy smoke filling the first floor of the building. A release by the Sun Prairie Fire Department says both the first and second floors had smoke damage and 2 units are unlivable. There's new information on arrests in a 4-month-long investigation into a multi-state meth trafficking organization. The Greene County Sheriff's Office believes these three that you're about to see, Tasha Nafziger, Kyle Dish, and Darren Demrow, are involved in the operation. They were arrested this week after police found 115 grams of suspected meth at Demrow's house. Dish, that's the man in the middle, is facing charges of conspiracy to deliver meth, possession, and felon in possession of a firearm. Charges directly related to meth trafficking are pending for the other two. Federal and Texas authorities are expected to charge more people in relation to this. More than 50,000 people in Southeast Texas are spending Thanksgiving away from their homes today. A massive explosion at the TPC Group plant, about 80 miles east of Houston, sent 3 people to the hospital yesterday morning. The plant has received violations for years and paid at least $180,000 in fines. The incident released chemicals into the air that could cause health problems like nausea and headaches. In Hong Kong, thousands of protesters staged a Thanksgiving rally to thank President Trump for passing new pro-democracy legislation. Trump signed the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act, prompting huge crowds of anti-government protesters in Hong Kong to wrap themselves in American flags to celebrate what they call a moral victory. The law passed both the House and Senate and allows the White House to sanction Chinese and Hong Kong officials who abuse human rights. Meanwhile, the president is flying back to the U.S. tonight after making a secret trip to Afghanistan. Trump made his first trip to the region to serve Thanksgiving turkey at a dining hall at Bagram Air Base.
There's nowhere I'd rather celebrate this Thanksgiving than right here with the toughest, strongest, best and bravest warriors on the face of the earth. You are indeed that. I hope everyone enjoyed the fantastic meal. It certainly did look good, and hopefully everyone can get some well-deserved rest this holiday.
Now, the trip was so secretive, even the president of Afghanistan wasn't told until just before Air Force One landed. The two men sat down briefly, the president said, to discuss peace talks between the U.S. and the Taliban, which once harbored al-Qaeda. More local news now. You've heard of churches and other groups giving back today, but this year a barber in Sun Prairie wanted to join in on the spirit. Mark Rudd of Mr. Rudd's Barbershop hosted a Thanksgiving meal today. He put a soul food twist on the traditional dishes, also throwing in collard greens and smoked turkey. He said he hosted this for the community, but they helped out too. Rudd said people dropped off money to help and Costco donated turkeys. He's happy he's able to give back to the people in Sun Prairie.
This community has embraced my barbershop expeditiously, and I just wanted to be able to do something to give back to this community, because the community's been good to me.
Rudd hopes to make this an annual event. He already hosted a dinner over the summer, but he wants to do these community meals at least once in every season. Our area was also home to several races to celebrate Thanksgiving today. One of those, the Burby Derby in Fitchburg. The race features a 10K and 5K with new features this year, like a personal record bell that runners got to ring if they set a personal record. In its 16th year, Burby Derby donates about $100,000 each year to the Technology Education Foundation, which supports technology education for underserved kids and adults. One of today's more exciting turkey trots came in Wausau, where one runner, Elizabeth Metz, finished the race and saw a face she thought she'd have to spend the holiday without. Lucas Tobalski just finished Air Force basic training and is now in tech school in Texas, and surprised her with a hug and an engagement ring at the finish line. And yes, Metz did say yes. Still to come on News 3 now at 10, we'll show you how a local homeless shelter is serving a growing need in Wisconsin, and why the help is more necessary than ever. More than 38 million people nationwide live below the poverty line, and volunteers across the country, like in this kitchen in the heart of Washington, D.C., spent time prepping, cooking, and serving meals for the less fortunate today. Closer to home, the Beacon has been serving community Thanksgiving meals for the past 3 years on East Washington Avenue. They say every year they see more and more people in need of a meal and a place to go, and that the need for their services is only going to increase in the coming years. Jamie Perez got a firsthand look at why this is happening.
This Thanksgiving, volunteers at the Beacon are preparing to feed several hundred guests.
I'm gonna slice them up and get them ready to go.
Most of them homeless, but all of them still thankful on this holiday.
I'm thankful for God waking me up this morning. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for a lot of stuff.
I'm thankful for God just blessing me and my child to have somewhere safe to go.
Just grateful for the help I've gotten.
All three of the people you just heard from say this Thanksgiving they've seen the most number of people in need of a meal and a place to go.
The cost of living is very expensive.
Joel Gerard has served Thanksgiving here for the past 3 years. He's heard the same thing from many, including Felicia Ty,
housing,
Lonnie Little.
See more people struggling without housing and having to go someplace for dinner. That concerns me.
And Centoria Lee.
What about the people that's sleeping on the street? What about the people that dying in the cold when it's really cold outside? They don't care about us. They just care about the wealthy, the middle class. But what about the homeless people?
All of them have lost their homes within the last few years. Some for family reasons, loss of a job, and things that no one can plan for.
A car accident in 2000, and that's what really floored me. Was it hit at almost 45 miles an hour, so it was pretty bad, and it took me out of the workforce, basically.
That was in 2017. Little has been coming here every year since. It's a growing concern Gerard has. The cost of living continues to climb, and wages just aren't keeping up.
Hard for our guests to be able to find a place, and they also, because there is, I think we're like a 3 or 4% vacancy rate in Dane County. We have quite a few guests who are in school full-time, also who are working maybe a job and a half, and still have a hard time coming with that money to make that, down payment right away, if they can even find housing.
Until something changes.
It's more than what I've seen.
More and more people will be in need for the holidays and every other day of the year.
Unless that changed and there are more available spaces for our guests, where are they going to go? And that's what we're here for, and that's, what we're to do. But it would be great for them to be able to have some houses and have Thanksgiving in their own house.
In Madison, I'm Jamie Perez, News 3 Now.
The Beacon served around 250 guests today, and they anticipate more next year. And today's meal comes as a group of neighbors in Madison appeals the city board's decision to approve expansion of a homeless shelter and allow the development of low-cost housing across the street from the Beacon. Earlier this month, the Madison Plan Commission gave the Salvation Army permission to double its capacity of the shelter, but opponents say the $25 million redevelopment project would draw more crime to the area. The city plans to review the appeal to see if it meets the requirements of having 20% of owners within 200 feet of the project site. Out west, Southern California is being hit with rain causing flooding and mudslides, but there's also snow shutting down portions of freeways. People in California woke up to a rare white Thanksgiving. Palmdale, California saw its first snow in almost 10 years, while further north in the state, dozens of cows roamed Highway 50 after the cattle truck they were in jackknifed on the icy road. Now, with Thanksgiving over and done with, we're watching out for a second storm this weekend here. Hattie McLean is in now with your full forecast.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of a break in between the storm pre-Thanksgiving, and now we're ramping up for the other one for post-Thanksgiving travel. So again, keep that in mind if you are traveling. Let's take a look at our weather graphics this evening. Here's a look at what's on high-resolution Doppler radar. You can see some radar returns showing up here across southern Wisconsin. The dry air in place, though, is causing all of that snow to evaporate before it hits the ground. So no ground truth to any of these radar returns just yet. There is the potential, though, for some freezing drizzle overnight. So if you're headed out for Black Friday shopping, here's a look at that forecast. There is the potential for some freezing drizzle at 6 o'clock. Temperatures will be just below the freezing point here in Madison. By lunchtime, climbing above freezing, so any freezing drizzle will change to just drizzle. It'll be cloudy and chilly for the lunch hour, with temperatures in the mid-30s. And then by 4 p.m. in the afternoon, that's our high for the day, just 39 degrees. Pretty close to normal, though, for this time of the year. Now let's take a look at the alert day that's in the forecast for Sunday. Again, I mentioned we're watching another storm system. This one will bring strong winds on Sunday, as well as some light snow to our viewing area. There may be some higher amounts in the Northwoods, but it will likely impact travel across the state. Take a look at the winter storm watch that's in effect already. This weekend, it's a winter storm watch for the northwestern corner of the state, where there could be some pretty heavy snow with this next system. Keep in mind, that's a part of the state that already has some snow on the ground from the last storm, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches. Pretty widespread snow totals or snow depth on the ground right now. Of course, no snow here in southern Wisconsin. Take a look at your future track forecast as we go through time. We'll stop at Sunday morning at 7 a.m. If you are traveling early on Sunday, there could be some mixy precipitation north of Madison. For the Northwoods, it looks like all snow at that time. As we put the map in motion and go towards the lunch hour again, stopping at 12, you see that rain snow line working its way through southern Wisconsin. So we'll likely see a changeover from rain to snow here, and then some light snow possible through the afternoon. It all winds down pretty quickly, though. By Monday morning, we're back to dry conditions. Here's a look at the potential snow amounts from this particular system. Pretty light for southern Wisconsin. North of Dane County, there could be 1 to 2 inches of accumulation, but you see this particular model dropping some pretty heavy snow for the Northwoods once again. Now, right now, we're just watching some clouds here across southern Wisconsin. Those clouds are likely to stay put all night. Temperatures are in the 30s, 32 here in Madison, 34 in Janesville, 31 in Watertown. Your future track forecast model has cloudy skies all night. Temperatures really hovering in the low 30s, so not moving too far. You see this light precipitation showing up on the map at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's the potential for a little bit of freezing drizzle. Heading towards the lunch hour again, temperatures above freezing, so just drizzle expected. For the evening hours, plan on some rain and snow moving in. Here's 10 p.m. You can see that moisture just west of the Mississippi River Valley, but it spreads across southern Wisconsin Friday night into Saturday morning. Looks like a pretty wet day on the way for Saturday as well. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have that alert day on Sunday, then a pretty nice stretch of weather heading into next week. No precipitation, Amy, Monday through at least midday Saturday. So a nice stretch with at least some sunshine.
Good recovery from the holiday weekend.
True.
Thank you so much, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Well, coming up, the Wisconsin football team wants to feast on Gophers this weekend. Stick around. Sports is next.
News 3
Last year, Wisconsin offensive lineman Michael Dieter said losing Paul Bunyan's axe to Minnesota would stick with him for the rest of his life. The Badgers kept the axe for 14 straight seasons before losing it on Senior Day at Camp Randall last season. This week, the Badgers took some time to reflect on what they're thankful for, but they might be most thankful for the chance to get a little payback and get back what they think is theirs.
I can say a lot of things I'm thankful for. My family, life in general, like it's big, and it's a lot bigger than football. But coming on this week, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to get our axe back.
It's a big game, big opportunity. It's definitely be fun. It's going to be a great feeling to get that axe back.
Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers said there hasn't been any finger pointing since Sunday night's disaster against the 49ers. After going over the tape, they put it to bed and moved on. Rodgers said talent-wise, he put his team up against anyone in the league. But talent doesn't mean anything if you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish on both sides of the ball.
Execution is the main divider between teams that put that performance on the board like they did and the way we played. I think, I think things would be a little different hopefully next time as far as the way we go out and execute. But we got to put ourselves in a position to have that conversation again.
Packers receiver Devontae Adams said it's not like the Packers have lost 7 games in a row, and it's not the end of the world, both of which are true. Adams said it's how you respond is what separates the good teams from the great teams, and they're ready to move forward.
Let's stop being dramatic. I mean, it was one game. It was a big game because it was the current game that we had. But at this point, we're just focused on the next opponent. We just want to move on from that. And I mean, like I've said, I feel like 1,000 times. Let's say 1,000,000, just because you guys love the millions so much. We've had so much success in this locker room to where we're not going to be rattled by one game.
Lions third-string quarterback David Blau had one of the best starts to a start in recent league history. 7-0 Bears. How about this for your first career completion? Kenny Galladay on the other end. He will trot in the end zone for a 75-yard touchdown, and we're tied at 7. 20-17 Detroit. Mitchell Trubisky hasn't been very good this year, but was good enough today. Bears win 24-20. They have won 3 of 4. Buffalo and the Cowboys tied at 7. How about some trickeration? John Brown. Oh, he's not going to run. He's going to throw. Devin Singletary all by himself. Bills take the lead, and they would not give it back. Jerry Jones not feeling festive. 16-7. Josh Allen in the shotgun. He's big. He can run, and he's leading the Bills. 15-yard touchdown. Buffalo wins 26-15. They're 9-3. Their 4th winning season in the last 20. How about some hoops? Marquette taking on Davidson in Orlando. Marcus Howard is the engine of the Golden Eagles. Buckets, 3 of his 40. Golden Eagles win 73-63. They will play USC tomorrow. Ferris wheel meets Franz Mühlner, the pride of Austria, did his own turkey trot thing in Germany. He moved the high sky Ferris wheel with his body. He described the conditions as brutal because he moved a Ferris wheel with his body. It's the largest mobile Ferris wheel in the world at almost 80 meters high. He got a certificate saying it weighed 1,500 tons. The exact weight isn't clear, but does it really matter when you move a Ferris wheel with your body? One more break, and we put a bow on the show.